Okay, so this presentation is, like my colleague said, is to show us the exciting features in SAP 200 Evolution. So let's go down to the agenda. So agenda for today, we have our introduction, and then we have some things that came up during the upgrade of the software, some enhanced interface, some reports, integration, and some new features that we got or came up during the upgrade of the software. All right, so introduction. So you're all welcome to this presentation. And in this presentation, we're going to show you the new features that will help you to elevate your business operations. Now, these things could be very minute. It could be very tiny bit details that you might not have known. So this is just like an eye opener, easier ways for you to navigate, for you to assess your system, and for you to make your processes easier. All right, so I'll start with the first one. So we have enhanced interface for improved user experience. So I don't know if you are aware, but when you're viewing your reports, especially your transaction reports, you can drill down that report, and then you can now see the source. For example, if I raised an invoice and I go to my trial balance, I can drill down my trial balance to see that invoice. So let me just give you a brief rundown on how that works. So if I go to my general ledger, trial balance, okay, so I'll just print with description, preview. So now these are transactions already posted. So I can double click on any of these blue icons to show me what's made up each of these transactions. So for example, if I want to see my revenue, I can double click on this. It opens up here. Now, okay, what made up this revenue? There are invoices that were processed that made up this amount in revenue. So I can go up here and click on drill down. So with this, if I click on drill down, I can see, let me expand this. I can see all the ledger accounts that were posted. So 7,100 here indicates our receivables account. This 9,600 is our VAT account, and 1,000, sorry, is our revenue account. I can also come down to source, and then to take me back to the document that was raised, the invoice document. So this is it. This is the customer's name. This was what was purchased by this customer. This is the amount, and this is the price. The price was in dollars, and then the exchange rate was 2,000. So that's why we are seeing this value here. So these are things you can do, and any other reports too, you can drill down. Even if I want to see my let's say I want to see my receivables or payables, any of them, I can still click on this to open it and then drill down. So I'll see the source of this transaction. So these are newer features that some people are not aware of, or these are ways you can, track transactions to see, okay, this is where it came from, this is how it moved, and the rest. So please, like we mentioned, if you have questions, you can just write them in the comment section. We'll take them after the presentation. All right, so moving on to slide 2. We have improved Excel reports. Now, what does this mean? Initially, when you export reports from Sage software, it doesn't come out arranged or aligned. It's usually scattered. But with this new update, the report comes out very arranged. So let me show you. We already have a sample here. Okay, so this is a ledger account transaction report. So here you can see the date, the reference, description if there is, and then debit, credit, and balance. So it is more aligned and user friendly. So when you're viewing your report, you're not confused. One line is not entering the other line. They are now more aligned and arranged. So this is one of the newer things that has happened during the upgrade. So Sage understood and heard that, oh, people have been complaining that the reports have not really been aligned the way they want them to be, and they've gone ahead to work on it. So now we have a more aligned reports, more arranged reports. So everything is streamlined and user-friendly now. Okay, so moving on, we have the Active Directory. So now if you log out or log in, so let me just show an example. So I'll just be logging off from here. So if you log out and you log in, we have what we call Enable Evolution Active Directory. So in this new version, you can enable Active Directory and integrate it. So you can integrate this Active Directory with your domain for detailed Active Directory information. So let me just show you where you can find this. So if I click on Edit, so this is it. So once this is ticked, it means that you can, so on this measure, you can see, select, let's read what we have here. It says select this option if you wish to enable Active Directory login, okay, for this database. Now, Evolution Active Directory will connect and query the Microsoft Windows Active Directory, okay, Windows domain controller for Active Directory user for the Microsoft Windows domain. So if you click on this, it would query the Microsoft Windows domain controller for Active Directory. But then so these are the new features that came up during the upgrade. So initially this was not here, but now this has been integrated into the system. So you can be able to use this if you want. So that's the Active Directory we have. Okay, so let me log back in. All right, so we have the next one is the in-app backup. So initially, we're not able to back up inside the application and even restore inside the application. But with this new version, we can perform backups and restoration within the application. Initially, you have to go to the SQL server to do your backup and restore and the rest. But now you can do it within the application. So I'll just show you where you can do it easily. So when you go to your dashboard, and remember, this is just for admin rights. So anybody with admin rights should be able to perform backup and restoration in the application. So when you go to your administration, it's beside the maintenance. So let me expand this. So when you go to administration and then you move to system tools, you see database administration. So when you select this database administration, it takes you to the next screen. That is this screen, sorry. So it takes you to this screen. If you look at the bottom right of the screen, you see it. It has backup. So under this part, you can select backup and then your file name. So let's go into the application so we can see. I'm logging back in. Okay, so I'm logged in now. So if you have this new version, that is the version 11 and above, you should see this on your screen. You should see the administration, system tools, and then database administration. And when you click on it, you should have this, your backup and restore. So to backup, once you click on this backup, it sends it to the folder. Another thing again to note is that obviously your Microsoft SQL server should be on the system where you're performing this backup. So you could do it on the server or on a system where you have your Microsoft SQL server, and then it should be done with admin rights. Because if I log in with any other username that is not admin, I would not see administration on this part here. So you come here and then you select your folder. So mostly it goes to the SQL backup folder that's been created already. Then you can now change the name if you want, but the name has been already changed. So once you click on OK, it runs the backup. So it says successfully backed up database to Sage as so to this location, and then OK. So same thing if I want to restore my database, I can still come here and click on restore and then select where I want to restore from. If I click on the document and click on OK, it does the restoration. So this is another new feature of this application. All right, so moving on to other slides, we have the advanced reporting. So now, based on the IFRS standards, Sage, okay, let me explain. So if there are new standards that are being developed, Sage also includes those standards in the application and releases a legislative release for us to upgrade to maybe the new package. With that, that standard would have been implemented already in that package. So if there's a new IFRS standard on reporting, the way the report is supposed to look like and the rest, Sage would implement it and then give a general circular that we need to upgrade our data, our application, so that we'll be able to have this new reporting interface there. So for this advanced reporting, we have the cash flow statement, your statement of equity, notes to the account. We can design this customly, like we can customize it, design the report, and you can send it to Excel. So a sample of that report is this, what I want to show you right now. Okay. So now this report is our statement of cash flow. Let me just reduce this. Okay. So this was designed by us. So we have the operating activities, profit and loss for the year. So what I'm trying to say is that if this statement of cash flow report is to change based on the IFRS standard, if they said, okay, it should not be like this, it should be in a different way, Sage will get that information and implement it in the application, and then we'll have to upgrade so that we can get the newer form or newer way the report should be. But for now, we have this already. We can design this. So this is like an advanced form of reporting from Sage application. So once you have posted your transactions, you've posted everything correctly, and we've designed these reports for you, you should be able to export your statement of cash flow report to Excel. And then you can compare it with different years or the rest, anyhow you want to view your variances. So we also have, we also have the statement of financial position report. So we can also design this report for you. It gives you the statement of financial position per month, and then you can now get the total. So we can get it for different years, and then let's say we can compare 2 years together and get a variance. So far, your postings are accurate. We can design the report and you will get an accurate reporting from the Sage application. And this is different from the default reports we already have in the software. These ones are customized. Okay, so the next we have is the transactional export utility. So the points we have here are you can export data directly to Excel in a user-friendly format. And then as data sets grow, exporting of data from the system has been made easier with a new feature that will allow a user to export transactions directly to Microsoft Excel. So once you have your Microsoft Excel software, you can export data from the application without issues at all. So we also said on general ledger transactions, a new dialog was added for transactional exports per general ledger account. So transactions for a range of periods can be exported directly to an Excel spreadsheet, and formats resemble an account transaction report for easy analysis. So let's move over to the illustration. So we can see under transaction, general ledger, we have transactional export. And then, so now let's go to the application and see how we can export transaction using the transactional export utility. So I go to transaction, general ledger, and transactional export. I can select this. So we have this icon on the screen. And then we can now select what accounts and what accounts we want to export from. So let's say I want to export my revenue accounts. So I can just bring in the account. And then from what date to what date? So I want to export for the month of September 2024 to September 2024. Okay, so display what? So I want to display and print my account with description. So now if you have foreign amounts, you can also select print foreign amounts. Okay, so the next I want to do is to specify my path. Where do I want my export to be saved to? So I will just, let me send it to my desktop. So this is the name, GL transaction export for so date, and then it's saved as an XLSX workbook. So I'll select save, and then I can click on export. So it shows the process. And then, do you want to open the Excel workbook? I can say yes. So now let's see how our transactional export utility exports our document. So now this is it. So we have, if you can see my screen, we have the account name, the description, the branch code if there is, the transaction dates, the references, the description of the transaction, audit number, your balances, both debits and then credits, and then the running balance. So this is easy to understand. It's not cumbersome, it's not complicated, and this is done using the transactional exports utility. So in case you've not been using it before, if you have say 200, you can start using this to export your transactions. It's easy and doesn't waste time. Okay, so that's for transactional export utility. And then we also have our quotation number linking. So initially we did not have this, we didn't have this on Sage, but now we do. So it says that you can link and print quotation numbers on your sales order reports. So meaning that if you have a sales order report, and you, after the sales order, you place an order, you now raise a quotation, you can print out your quotation number on that report. So obviously we know that when we go to transaction, when we go to transaction, customer/sales and sales order, and raise a sales order and a quotation. So when you are viewing your reports, your quotation number can come alongside it. So that's what this is. So in case you've not seen this before, this is something that can be achievable on the application now. Okay, so the next we have is the account terms description customization. So now we can display account terms on purchase order, And then you can have customizable fields for tailored information. So if I go to your purchase order, so let's go to purchase order, transaction, order entries, purchase order. Okay. So this is the purchase order screen. So we have the settlement terms here. So I can right click and go to maintenance. And then under maintenance now I can add new terms of payment. I can change this, edit this if I want to. And then I can also bring in an invoice message. So I can just bring this, change description, and then the payment method. How do I want payment method to be? Number of days, discounts if there is. And then if I don't want to bring, if I don't know what to type in this invoice message, I can click on create default message. So with this, I just have to edit the information that Sage has brought up for me already. So if you click on OK, it comes up here. So you can do this while processing your purchase order and other transactions. Okay, so the next we have is the inventory count enhancement. So now if you have serial numbers, we can now exclude invoiced serial numbers, and then we can focus on in-stock serial numbers during inventory capture. So if you've been using your inventory counts enhancement since, and you were not able to exclude your invoice serial numbers option, so here on this system, we can now do it. So let's go to the inventory count enhancements. Okay, so I'll close this transactions, inventory, and inventory count. So once you've created a new inventory count, so let me just add a new one quickly. So I can just do monthly inventory counts. Okay, I'll create a reference here, and then okay, so I'm not limiting any inventory item. So, but inventory types, so if you want your just serial number items, if you want to count just serial number items, you can untick all this and then leave just the serial number items. That's if you serialize your serial numbers. And if it's just warehouse item, you can untick everything and then click on only the warehouse item. And then same with standard item and lot item. So I will just click on all this, and then we can go to OK. So we have the edit quantities here. So here on this screen, it can show us the inventory code, the description, the item category, the serial number. Now, if this inventory item is serialized, the serial number would come up here. And then this is the system quantity. So after counting, what was our count quantity? So let's say our count quantity was 200 and we have a variance of 50. So I can save this and close. So what this new feature is talking about is that if you have serial numbers that you've invoiced already, you can exclude it from this inventory count. And then you can only focus on the ones that are available during the inventory capture. So that is the feature that we have. That's a new feature that we have here. Okay, so moving on to the next slide, we have the foreign currency support. So now this system can actually perform revaluations of foreign currency. And then initially, when you go to the voucher management, you can now perform multi-currencies in your voucher management. So it enhances international transaction capabilities. So let me just show you where you can select your currencies in your voucher management, or if you're doing a GL voucher. So if I move down to, okay, let me close this. So let's say I move down to our voucher management, and then I go to our vouchers. Okay. Okay, so I can select GL, which is general ledger. And then once I bring in voucher type, the narrative and the rest, you can see it will ask me, is this home currency? If this is home currency, it means that my transactions are going to be in Naira, since our home currency is in Naira. But if this transaction is not supposed to be in a home currency, I can untick this, and then I'll select the currency I want to work with. And then the exchange rate that has been set up already comes up here. So you see 200 is the exchange rate I set up for this transaction. So $1 is 200 Naira, according to what I've done. So then I can now come here to bring in the amount. So if it's $300, automatically it multiplies this and then give us our home total. So with this, we can perform foreign currencies transaction using our GL, general ledger vouchers or voucher management. So that is one of the features that was brought up in this new upgrade. Okay, so moving on, we have the global tax module. So this module is a module where we can perform withholding tax transactions. So initially, after charging VAT from our invoices, we only do withholding tax by splitting transactions. So we split to pay VAT and then split to withholding tax account. But on this new version, there's a module for doing all that, withholding tax and all that. Although VAT is still the same, we still have the VAT module where you can just select the VAT rate. But with this withholding tax module, we can perform bulk withholding tax deductions for our suppliers. So let's go to show you. Let me show you how we can do that. So the module is called the global tax. If you check your system tree, you should have global tax. So if you don't have it, then maybe you can request for an upgrade of your application for you to be able to have this global tax module. So if I open the global tax module, so we have the tax master where we can bring in the rates. So remember, there's a new withholding tax law that came up. So some clients would be able to, some clients would be on 5%, some on 10%. So you can bring in the rates for them on this part. So you can just type, so let's say this, I want to change this to 5%. I can come here and then write 5, and then I've changed this to 5%. So on each of the suppliers, you can add up the rates, change the rates in line with the withholding tax law that came up. So we can then, I can save this. So by the time I'm performing my tax transactions, so far I have, okay, yeah, another thing again to note is that you should also be using purchase orders. So you should have been using your order entry module to raise POs and invoices. That's when another reason, that's another point. At that time, you'll be able to use this global tax module. Okay, so I'll just select my date range. So let's say from 3rd and 4th, and then show. So if I have transactions already, I will see them already. I'll see them here. So this transaction was, this was the amount, and then this was withholding tax percentage, and then it has calculated my withholding tax amount here. And then say with this was the amount, and then this is my withholding tax amount on 10%. So by the time we click on post and all that, you see that the system would send it to the account you've created for withholding tax, a holding account for withholding tax, and then you can now pay it out from the bank or how you want to knock it off. So that is a new feature that so many clients do not know about, but it's here on Sage. And then you can also view all our reports on the withholding tax and tax reports and the rest. So that's what this model is about. So it ensures the accurate tax deductions at source. There's supposed to be 5%, it calculates, it's supposed to be 10%, it also calculates, for your suppliers or clients. So I'll go to the next slide, which is our conclusion. So now this system can help you to improve your efficiency Remember, we have the global tax module. Initially, you would have been calculating the withholding tax, with a calculator or with your brain or anything. But with this system, the system can help you do it. You can also view your reports seamlessly. It has made reporting very easy, and then it has also made your data management and your processing easier. So these are the small things that you might not have noticed, but they're things that could actually simplify your processes, and there are things that actually changed in the process. So if you are still on a lower version, we encourage you to upgrade so that you can also enjoy some of the features that can help improve your efficiency in in your management and your decision making and the rest. So on that note, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention during this presentation. And I would like to take questions if you have any so that we can answer your questions. Thank you very much.